back to another top 5 video with yours truly, Sam Healey. This one is a little bit off of my beaten path, so to speak, a little bit outside of my wheelhouse, because I usually don't talk about artwork or any of that kind of thing. I'm just not a very artsy kind of person. I mean, I enjoy painting miniatures, but that's about the extent of my artistic ability. So this is a little bit of a step into unknown territory for me, but anyway, as I was going through thinking about looking at all of the different ideas that everybody put up on the guild for me earlier today, this one is the one that kind of stuck out for me. The top 5 box arts covers, or box cover art. I don't know even how you say it. Cover design, box design, I don't know. But that's the one that kind of stuck out to me because that's one of the things that I look for in a game. One of the things that I look at is, does the box art grab me? Does it make me want to try to play the game? That's one of the things that I look for in art. So with me, the box art has got to be evocative. It's got to be eye-catching. It's got to be kind of flashy. And one of the things that you'll see in my list is that there's a lot of color in most of them. There's one kind of oddball from that perspective, but we'll get to that in just a few moments. Another caveat here, these are all games that I own. These are games that are on my shelf, and that was kind of important for me because I like to try to have some kind of connection with the games that I put on my list. And with box art, I know I could get on the web and find untold numbers of really great looking box art covers. But I wanted a connection, so that's what I did. I had a little bit of a slimming down point, bottleneck if you will, so that I could pick these and have a connection to all 5 of them. So I did have a couple of honorable mentions that I wanted to mention that have just kind of caught my eye here recently. Grimslingers is one that has really caught my eye. I can't believe how stark and how cool that box cover art is. Another one is Lotus, and that was just kind of a wow, it's so beautiful. Now it's a little bit not my style because it has a lot of white and it's very bright. Not that I like darker artwork, but it's just that that's just a little bit not my style. Those are my 2 honorable mentions, though. I thought those were really neat. But without further ado, let's get to my top 5 box cover artwork things. Now, my number 5 is from a game company called Days of Wonder, and man alive, do I like a lot of the box covers that Days of Wonder put out. But this one was especially cool for me because I grew up reading about the legend and kind of investing myself in that world. And it kind of, for me, was the launch point of the whole fantasy genre for me. And that is Shadows over Camelot. Now, Shadows over Camelot was done by Cyril Dugin and Julien Delval. They did a few different games for Days of Wonder. Cleopatra and the Society of Architects is one of them, which also has a really great cover. Was on my short list for this list. So I just really enjoy how, first of all, I liked the font choice of the title of the game that was on the cover. I also liked how half of the cover was kind of a darkish hue, and the other one was a light, and the side that was light was the good guys, and the side that was dark were the bad guys, and then there's Camelot in the distance, kind of hanging in the balance. I just really enjoyed everything about this cover, and just so happened that's what drew me to it, and I ended up loving the game as well. So that's my number 5, Shadows over Camelot. Now, my number 4 is a newer game, just came out in 2014, and it's from another publisher that is also well known for their artwork, and that is Yellow. Yellow does an amazing job finding good artists. I don't know if they have like this pack of artists that they keep in a room somewhere and they don't let them see the light of day or anything like that, but they're really, really, really good artists. I don't know what they do, but most of Yellow's games have very good artwork in them, and this is not any kind of an exception at all, and that is Heroes of Normandy. The artist here was Alexander Bonvalot. Now, I'm probably murdering these names, and I'll go ahead and say this right now. I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can. But again, it's going to kind of be a theme here. The box art is what drew me into the game. I love how it's kind of a, not really, I don't really like using the word cartoony look to it, because it's much better than that. But I just really enjoyed how it was, you know, they were very symmetrical people. You know, all of the soldiers and everything were not shaped weird or anything like that. They were all had symmetrical proportions, and it was, I loved how, you know, the one sergeant was there saying, "Let's go, let's get in, you know, let's get into it." And, you know, he's got his Thompson there, and there's another guy with a 50 cal, and the Germans are on the other side in the background coming over the front lines and all this kind of stuff. It was just a very evocative box cover for me. So I really enjoyed Heroes of Normandy's box cover. Very cool. Now, my number 3 is from an older game, actually, but it was just recently reprinted by IDW Games, and that is Fire and Axe of Viking Saga. Now, I gave this game a lot of negative feedback as far as their board design was concerned, but their box cover was amazing. That's what drew me in to it. I just loved how the Viking was there, very formidable, in a wintry landscape with the buildings burning in the background. Now, I thought that there was a little bit too dark on the cover. Could have been a little bit lighter for my taste, and I thought that the name of the game was a little bit too large, but those were minor infractions by comparison. So I really did enjoy the art. I think that Josh Capel, Jeffrey Edwards, and Stefan Poinsot, again, murdering these names, but these guys did a wonderful job designing the cover of the game, and the cards, all the redesigns on the inside, great. I just thought they fell short a little bit on the board, but that is my number 3, Fire and Axe of Viking Saga. Now, my number 2 in this list is kind of the oddball that I was talking about earlier, because most of the other games in my list are very colorful covers, very vibrant colors, I guess you could say, that were used. This one, not so much so. It's from Space Cowboys, and it's called Elysium. Now, Elysium is the artwork that is in this game is amazing. I mean, they had an army of artists working on this game. We have McCambridge, Eric Bourgier, Carey, Vincent Dutrait, Sylvain Guenebaud, Didier Poli, Pascal Quideau, Emmanuel Roudier, Bruno Tati. They had an army of artists working on this game, and boy did it pay off. The artwork is amazing. The cover is, while it's not flashy and while it's not very colorful, it is definitely evocative. It's very mysterious, and it has a very monochromatic feel to it, but the design is so good. Now, I think the person who has final credit for the box cover is Eric Bourgier. I looked at the signature on the box, and it has a big B on the front, and his is the only name that has a big B on it. So I could be wrong there. Please forgive me if I am. But Elysium's box art was very cool. Again, one of those things that brought me into the game. Probably not a game that I would seek out on the offset, but the box art is what pulled me in. So again, that's my number 2, Elysium. And finally, my number 1 is a game that, and we're going back to the very vibrant, colorful box arts at this point, but it is from Discoveries, the Journals of Lewis and Clark. Now, I've heard some people say that they didn't like that pink sky background that was very prominent on the cover, and to be honest, it took me a little bit off at first as well. But I do remember seeing a lot of different skies that look like that, and the realness, I guess you could say, the very beauty that is there that I've seen in skies, in sunsets, and in sunrises was just very vivid, and I really enjoyed it. I like a lot of Vincent Dutrait's work. He's the guy that did the work for Discoveries, and his rustic feel almost of artwork just really speaks to me, I guess. I don't know. I just really enjoy his style of artwork, and it fits this game very, very much. It's a game all about traveling and being very rustic and exploring new lands and all of that kind of stuff. So I just thought that his artwork and his style fit this box cover perfectly, and he really knocked it out of the park. So my #1 box art of games that I own is Discoveries: The Journals of Lewis and Clark by Vincent Dutrait. So that's my top 5 box art covers, or box cover artworks, or whatever you'd like to call it, that are in my collection. I hope you've enjoyed it, and of course let me know in the comments whether I was right or wrong, and what your favorite box art covers, I don't know. Just let me know in the comments, and hey, we'll see you on the flip side.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.